So it has been a while since I last made a video, but we've got a lot going on around the Championship at the moment. We've had new managers coming in, managers leaving their clubs. We had all the drama going on surrounding the playoff semi-finals as well. Next week we've got Villa going up against Derby at Wembley. But most importantly, we've got an absolute abundance of transfer rumours which are circulating around the league at the moment. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys all the latest information. We've got over 30 transfer rumours to go through today. If you did go in to enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. Also, if you've seen any of the transfer rumours which we didn't mention in today's video, make sure to get them in the comments down below. And just let me know down below, what positions do you think your club needs to be looking into strengthening over this summer transfer window. Before we do get into any transfer rumours, we have seen some already go through in the Championship. We've seen Lloyd Kelly complete a move to Bournemouth for £13 million. Now, don't get me wrong, Lloyd Kelly is a fantastic fullback, had a real good breakthrough year this season in the Championship, but £13 million? I don't know, Bristol City fans, what do you think of this? Let me know down below. I think you've done fairly well there. Over the past sort of season or two, Bristol City have made quite a bit in transfer fees, but to get £13 million for Lloyd Kelly, they've done well there. I can see why Bournemouth have gone in for him. You know, he's a very upcoming, young, promising English talent. He's the sort of player who Bournemouth do tend to go for, but for £13 million, Bristol City have done alright from that. Also, we saw Derby County complete the signing of Graham Shinney coming over from Aberdeen on a pre-contract. I think that we spoke about this one earlier on in January with him being linked to Derby County, but this one a good deal. I think that the Aberdeen fans are obviously sad to be losing him. A real leader on the pitch, can either play midfield or at left back. Last season he picked up 19 yellow cards in 45 appearances, so you know, if Derby are still in the Championship next season, he could be rivaling Ben Pearson for the most yellow cards in the league. And also, before we get into any transfer news, we have had some managers coming in and departing from the Championship. Mark Warburton has come in the other week as the new QPR boss. I think that this was maybe quite a sensible move from QPR, actually. I think he could do a decent job there. And the other day we saw Tony Pulis leave Middlesbrough, to the elation of most Middlesbrough fans, I am sure. Despite Borough being in and around the top six for the majority of this season, the fans were never really happy there. The football was turgid to watch. Players were being played out of position, and I think it probably was best for both Pulis and the club that they went their separate ways in this one. When I'm recording the video, Jonathan Woodgate remains to be the favourite for the next Middlesbrough manager, with Ita Karanka and Chris Hughton also talked about. West Brom are also on the hunt for a new manager. The two new names which have emerged in the race for this one are Lee Bowyer, the current Charlton manager, and Michael O'Neill, the current Northern Ireland manager. And another manager who could be on his way out of the Championship is Graham Potter, who's been heavily linked with a move to Brighton. Now, I've seen that, you know, I think there's a bit of a misguided opinion of Brighton sacking Chris Hughton and apparently downgrading to Graham Potter. From what it's worth, I think that Graham Potter's a fantastic manager. I think he did a very good job at Swansea last season with the resources he had available, brought up some really good young players, developed the team well, and they played with a really fashionable style of play. And if they improved their away record a little bit, you know, they could have easily sneaked into the top six. So for me, I think that Graham Potter moving to Brighton, I think he'll do a good job there. And then the final bit of manager news going around at the moment is talk of Marcelo Bielsa potentially leaving Leeds United, with both Roma and Celta Vigo being interested. Now, we have to talk for a minute about the just baffling playoff semi-final between Leeds United and Derby. At one point it was looking like Leeds were cruising towards Wembley. They were 2-0 up on aggregate, but then after a horrible mix-up between Kiko Casilla and Cooper on the edge of the box, led to Derby getting back into the game, and the second half everything just went out the window, and Derby took full advantage of that and managed to beat them in the end. I think it's absolutely crucial that Leeds do manage to keep hold of Marcelo Bielsa. I still think there is a real possibility that they will go on and do that. But we will now move on into the transfer rumours, and the big one going around the Championship at the moment is Daniel James being heavily linked with a move to Manchester United, with the price being talked about around £15 million. Now, this one doesn't come as a massive surprise. I'm sure that Leeds fans are absolutely devastated that they went ahead and missed out on Daniel James on the last day of the transfer window in January. But it's no surprise to see him being linked to the Premier League. Last season I thought he did very well. He scored 4 goals, got 7 assists. I don't think that those stats necessarily do him justice though. When you watch him play, you can really tell he's got something about him. He retains possession very well, got brilliant quality on the ball, and just his little bursts of accelerations to get around the player. With the current regime that Manchester United look to be going under, you know, targeting more youthful players, this move would make sense. There have been other Premier League clubs who have been linked with Daniel James, but it looks more than likely that this move probably will come off in the end. And I'd be a little bit sad to see him leave Swansea in the Championship. I think that Swansea really were building something starting from last season with Graham Potter, but with potentially Daniel James leaving and the manager as well, Swansea are going to have a real busy summer. And another Swansea player being linked away from the club at the moment is Ollie McBurney. Last season he scored 22 goals in the league, so it's no surprise to see a couple of people sniffing around him. Still a very young talent as well, and it is Sheffield United and Brighton who are said to be the two main clubs chasing him at the moment. Throughout the season he had some very good performances, can also be a little bit diverse as well. He's dropped back into that number 10 role a couple of times. That will certainly suit a team like Sheffield United. Swansea certainly wouldn't be willing to let one of their key assets leave for less than what they value him for, so the price tag will be pretty big. But if Sheffield United United and Brighton do come in with some hefty offers, you can see it happening perhaps. And then we need to talk about Bournemouth for a little bit, because they are being linked with a lot of Championship players at the moment, the first of which being Calvin Phillips. Now, last season, I'd argue he was probably one of the most improved players from the season before that. Under Marcelo Bielsa, Calvin Phillips went on to be probably the best holding midfielder in the league, actually. He made his way into the team of the season, and it's no surprise to see a few Premier League clubs being interested in Bournemouth, being the club who seems to be most keen at the moment. I think it's going to be crucial for Leeds that they do keep this squad together. I think that if Bielsa is going to stay, he's going to need assurances that he can keep this group of players together. Although that's always tough to do when a Premier League club is coming in and sniffing around their players. You know, we've seen this happen before with Lewis Cook making a move from Leeds to Bournemouth. And we're also seeing Bournemouth being linked with a move for Callum Robinson, the Preston winger. Robinson's in a bit of a funny situation at the moment. He's only got 1 year left on his contract, and for a club like Preston, we can't be allowing him to run down his contract and then leave on a free. You know, we just can't do that. So two things are going to have to happen this summer, really. Either he signs a new contract, or he's going to be going out the door in either the summer transfer window or in January. Last season, he was absolutely phenomenal for Preston. Despite being out injured for a large chunk of the season, he got 12 goals and was averaging a goal every 157 minutes. And considering he's a winger, those are some absolutely phenomenal stats. I'd love to see him back in the Preston shirt next season, but if he isn't going to sign that contract, we're probably going to be forced to sell. And Bournemouth are also being linked with a move for Stoke goalkeeper Jack Butland. I think a lot of people were surprised that Jack Butland stuck it out with Stoke in the Championship last season. Being one of England's best goalkeepers, there's no doubt he's still Premier League quality. Even with the sort of disaster of a season that Stoke had, you could still tell that Jack Butland was up on his game. You know, he was by far their best player for the majority of the season. I don't think any Stoke fan would hold it against Jack Butland if he was to leave in this transfer window. There's no doubt he is good enough for the Premier League, and I can see why Bournemouth are interested. After Portsmouth lost in the playoff semi-final to Sunderland in League One, there have been a lot of players being linked away from the club, the first of which being Jamal Lowe, with Leeds, West Brom and Middlesbrough all said to be interested in the winger. Last season in League One, he managed to score 15 goals in 44 appearances. He's only 25 years old, and after the season he's just had, it's understandable to see why there are so many Championship clubs going after him. Sheffield Wednesday have been fairly prevalent in the transfer rumours lately. They've first of all been linked with Julian Borner, the German defender, for the past few weeks. I believe he's a left-sided centre-back, although can play at left-back or in midfield. He seems to be fairly diverse in that aspect and is fairly fast for a centre-back as well. Will be a decent buy for them. And Sheffield Wednesday also appear to be the front-runners in signing Moses Odegbaju on a free transfer. If I'm being completely honest, I was surprised in the first place that Brentford even released him, because I think he's a very capable player in the league. A rumour which was going around a few days ago was Kieran Westwood being linked with a move to Huddersfield Town. However, in the past couple of days, it no longer looks like that will be the case, and it is looking more than likely that he will be staying at Sheffield Wednesday, which I'm sure will be to the delight of all the Wednesday fans after he really showed last season when he got himself back into the squad what a fantastic goalkeeper he is. Sheffield Wednesday's defensive record drastically improved when he came back in. And perhaps the new target for Huddersfield as they look to go in search of a goalkeeper will be Aaron Ramsdale. He spent last season out on loan at AFC Wimbledon from Bournemouth. It's looking more than likely that Bournemouth will be willing to let him go out on loan again, with them looking to find a Championship club for Ramsdale to go to. He's still a fairly inexperienced goalkeeper. He is only 21 years old, but he impressed out on loan at AFC Wimbledon last season, with him winning their Young Player of the Year award. And another goalkeeper being linked to the Championship is Muric from Man City, currently being linked with a move to Preston North End. Now, this one comes up as quite an interesting transfer rumour, really, for a couple of reasons. Preston already have, you know, a lot of goalkeepers at the club, so if we are targeting a goalkeeper like this, it would signal that we are looking to move a couple of them on. Chris Maxwell, I think, is definitely going to be leaving this summer. I can't really see a situation where he's still at the club. If we are going in for Muric, I can't see us, you know, looking to sell Connor Ripley 6 months after we bought him, so it would probably look more than likely that Declan Rudd would then be going out the door. So this is a transfer rumour definitely to keep your eye on. Preston already have a bit of a relationship with Manchester City, with us bringing in Lucas Nemecha and Brandon Barker there last season. Bolton youngster Luca O'Connell's also being linked around a few clubs at the moment. He was probably one of their only high points of last season, really, the emergence of this young talent, and Preston, Norwich, Southampton and Rangers are all said to be interested in the 18-year-old. Quite a tenacious midfielder, certainly got bags of potential in there, and it's no surprise to see so many clubs being interested. We're also seeing Stoke City being heavily linked with a move for Matt Clark, the Portsmouth defender. Made it into the team of the year after his impressive season in League One with Pompey. He's only 22 years old, has bags of potential going forward into the future, and with Stoke looking to reduce the age of their back line, I think that this would be a very sensible option. Portsmouth, though, definitely wouldn't be willing willing to let him go on the cheap. It also looks like Stoke are the favourites to be signing Nick Powell on a free this summer. This would be a brilliant bit of business in my opinion. Last season for Wigan, scored 8 goals and picked up 6 assists in just 25 starts for them. The only sort of annoyance with Nick Powell over his career has been his injury record. If he can stay fit for an entire season, I think he could be one of the best playmakers in the Championship. This move would make sense though. It looks as if Stoke are starting to head in a slightly different direction, looking to get their business done early and not splashing an abundance of cash on some, you know, former Premier League stars or something like that. And Stoke are also favourites to be signing Lee Gregory on a free from Millwall this season as well. Last season he scored 10 goals and picked up 7 assists for Millwall. Millwall will be gutted to lose him, but I think he gives Stoke something a little bit different going forward. Not necessarily the best goal scorer in the Championship, but the work he gives you off the ball and the hold-up play I think will be good for some of Stoke's midfielders looking to score more goals next season. An interesting one is that it does look like Norwich will be pursuing Jordan Rhodes over the summer. He spent last season on loan at Norwich. He only made 9 starts for them, although did come off the bench 27 times. In that season, he managed to score 6 goals and pick up 1 assist. A few of those goals being fairly big for Norwich as well. I think there's no doubt he was a good character to have around the squad. Norwich fans, I'd be interested to know from you guys, would you like to see Jordan Rhodes coming back in? Obviously, he couldn't really get into the team after the fantastic form that Timu Pukki showed throughout the season, and with Norwich only playing with 1 striker. But if Falk wants to have him around the squad and as an option to come off the bench, if it's for the right price tag, I don't see much wrong with this move. Tom Lockyer could be on his way to the Championship and to Nottingham Forest, with the Reds said to be interested. In his career, he's made over 250 appearances for Bristol Rovers, and the defender is now available on a free transfer over the summer. And the story around Aston Villa and Tammy Abraham remains to be a very interesting one. Whatever league Villa are playing in next season, whether they do win the playoff final or not, if they are in the Premier League Championship, there's no doubt they're going to be trying to pursue a move for Tammy Abraham. However, reports have come out lately that Chelsea won't be willing to sell the youngster. He's had a very impressive season with Villa, scoring 26 goals, but with Chelsea set to go under a transfer ban, they can't really be allowing to sell any of their youngsters anymore. They're going to have to bring through some of them over the next few seasons, and with the impressive form that Tammy Abraham's shown away from Stamford Bridge, they're going to want to keep him around now. Villa find themselves in a similar situation with Tyrone Mings at the moment as well. Whatever happens at Wembley, they're going to want to bring him in next year. And with Gary Cahill available on a free transfer over the summer, Villa are being linked with a move for him if they do go on and get promoted. Obviously, the link here probably comes from John Terry being Villa's number 2, and it's a chance for those two to link up once again. If that move did come off, it would be a sensible one for Villa, I think, but will be dependent on them winning promotion on Monday. There's also been a few Brentford players being linked with the move to Villa as well, with obviously Dean Smith being their former manager. Neil Maupay, who managed to score 25 goals and get 8 assists as well, is on their radar apparently, as well as Barber, the defender from Brentford. Sammy Szmodics has been linked with the move to the Championship, with Bristol City and Reading both said to be interested in the Colchester United playmaker. Last season in League 1, he managed to score 14 goals. It's always a bit of a gamble picking up players from League 2, but with the quality he showed there last season, I believe he's a very hard-working player as well. It's probably worth a gamble with him only being 23 years old, got a lot of potential going forward into the future, and Colchester fans hold him in very high regard. And the transfer room we could see re-emerge over the summer is Louis Moult being linked with the move to Luton. After they have won promotion to the Championship now, they were said to be very interested in him throughout the January transfer window. Preston held firm though and kept hold of him. However, potentially with Preston looking to bring in another striker, Louis Moult could be going out the door to fund that. Last season he scored 4 goals for the Lily Whites, however the majority of his performances did come off the bench. I quite like Louis Moult. I think he's a decent player, very hard working, drops deep into midfield to get involved in the build-up play. However, I'm not sure how much first team football he's going to get next season with competition up front from players like Maguire and Jayden Stockley. It's also been said that West Brom won't be going after Dwight Gale this summer after his impressive loan spell in the Championship, scoring 24 goals. Without doubt, one of the best strikers in this league. Absolutely lethal. So that does open the door for maybe a few of the Championship clubs to sniff around Gale over the summer. Perhaps one of the relegated teams, or Leeds, also a club I've heard mentioned over the past few weeks. Defender Ryan Tafazzoli is available on a free transfer this season, with a number of Championship clubs said to be interested. Hull, Swansea, Preston and Luton all interested in the former Peterborough defender. And Leeds United are said to be interested in Bristol City winger Callum O'Dowda. Last season scoring 4 goals and getting 4 assists. Didn't really get as much game time as I would have expected. I think he still can be a quality player. Made quite a few appearances from the bench last season and could potentially be looking for a move away from Bristol City. Leeds definitely targeting a couple of wingers this season, so this move will make sense. And Leeds have also been interested in Barber from Brentford as well. And finally, Birmingham's playmaker Jota is said to be a target for Chris Wilder and Sheffield United. They were interested in him last season, however with them now being promoted to the Premier League, they could tempt him away from Birmingham. So the question I would ask the Birmingham fans is, what price tag would you be willing to let Jota go for? But guys, there you have it. That will wrap it up for this episode of the Championship Transfer Rumour Roundup. So do let me know down below, what speculation have you seen going around the league lately, and who would you like to see your club bringing in? But apart from that guys, that will will now wrap it up, so make sure you leave a like if you did go in to enjoy the video. Also, as well as that, make sure you subscribe for some regular Championship content. We've got a lot of stuff planned over the summer. But like I said, thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out all the other links in the description down below. But apart from that, I will see you all in the next one.